Awesome. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. We have another client interview with Michael. Super excited to have him here. He's actually an OG in the agency space, been working for about 12 years, you said, Michael, right? In the agency
Yeah.
space and just absolutely killing the home services niche with LL Media. So, yeah, Michael, give me like a really quick background on you, a bit of introduction. Love to hear it.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. We started about 8 years ago with this shop. I've been in lead gen, prior to that. Yeah, just doing lead gen appointments, calls. You're talking solar, windows, roofing, you name it in the home service niche.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. And before, remind me, did you have any kind of call center stuff in place before jumping into call center mastery, or is this the first go at it?
This is go number 4, I believe. Yeah,
Right.
so
Okay. Okay.
fourth time's the charm.
Okay. So give me a bit of background on that. Like, so with when you were trying to do the call center before jumping into CCM, what kind of problems were you having? Like, what happened there?
Yeah, so initially, we're just super green at it. We tried to do it in-house, tried to hire American agents. I think in 2015 we started it in what's it called? Agile, I think is the name of the CRM. But started to do that, realized we were in way over our heads, just kind of dipped our toes in the water, then got out. Couple of years later, tried to start one up in Belize, with some people that were using Cavoso and predictive dialers. That was stressful because of the language barrier. Also having some technical issues. Um, I think a lot of the predictive dialers were more built for volume, dialing aged stuff, dialing really low quality stuff. If you want to dial a phone book, you can use like a service like that, dialing 13 lines at a time. So we were just burning through leads because our leads are higher quality.
Yeah.
So that crashed and burned. Then we figured we were going to outsource it. We tried to use a couple of third-party call centers who are essentially the same kind of shops, turning and burning through like high volumes of leads. And the real thing that was super frustrating for my business partner and myself is um, the other channels, like SMS, just an afterthought. And if you try to get any third-party call center to use SMS, they're kind of like pulling teeth, like, yeah, I guess we can use SMS. It's not really a part of our thing. I think a lot of the shops that we were working with were real old school, let's just dial a whole phone book. Let's call them 1,000 times.
Mm.
Um, so we just knew a lot of money was being left on the table. So, then that crashed and burned. And then I think my business partner stumbled across some of your material, very intrigued. And we, got started up with you guys. And yeah, the rest is history.
I'm glad like you said, full time the charm. I'm glad we got there, got there in the end.
Yeah.
It's so funny because so many agencies they they tried to build like they've done exactly what you tried, man. They tried to build a call center, and they for some reason a lot of agencies see it different to other parts of the agency. So, for example, a lot of agency owners when they first start, they'll join a mastermind to learn about ads. They'll join a mastermind to learn about agency stuff in general. But when it comes to the call center, they think that they don't. They think it's like, oh, I can just figure it out. When really, like,
Yeah.
I think the call center part is even more complicated than paid ads. It's more complicated than a lot of things in the agency. So that's why I saw this. Obviously doing team follow up, working with Jim Launch, all them guys. I saw there was such a demand for this that people just didn't know how to do it. So yeah, man, I'm glad you found us. I'm glad we were able to help.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah. And so what do you think the biggest impact call center mastery has had on your agency?
Just having it in-house, having control over it, knowing what's going on, knowing what's going on with every lead is huge for us. Um, I think when we were doing all the outsourcing of it, I know that I'm generating good quality leads. Um, and just not having that transparency, like not knowing what happened to XYZ lead and
Mm.
the call center manager, this is when you're using third party. The call center manager is just telling you that, hey, all the leads are trash. You're like, are they trash? Having that transparency, knowing what's happening to every lead is super helpful for us.
Yeah, I love that. And how, since implementing it, are your clients happier? Like, is the service better in that sense as well? Even things like retention, how's all that? Is that improved or is that pretty similar still?
Well, that's allowed us to roll out a whole new product. So we're now setting appointments for our customers where we were just sending them the raw leads before.
Yeah.
So being able to provide that higher level of service has been it's transformed our business.
Love that. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love that. And how hard did you find it to implement all the videos and all that kind of stuff?
So I've been working on it with my business partner. So I tackled a little bit, he tackled a little bit. We're both taking the whole course and implementing it. The best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So we're we're chipping away at it. It's definitely there's some technical stuff in there, but yeah, if you stick with it and really jump on the coaching calls when, if something doesn't work, um, it's very doable, very achievable. Yeah, just I mean, be honest with yourself and make sure you're making the time to actually implement it and follow it to the letter, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, that's exactly it, man. A lot of people jump into the program and they try and skip around. And that's why I've got the whole, I've got a whole thing at the beginning where I'm like, don't skip around. Try and just get through it because if you start skipping around, you're gonna waste so much time. And you've been great, man. Like when you jump on the coaching calls, you know exactly what you need, right? And like you just ask the question and then within minutes we're done. And I can tell that you like the questions you're asking, I can tell you've been for the material and you're not just like trying to shortcut anything. And so I appreciate that from you as well, man. Like committing to it and going through it. It's been yeah, it's been a pleasure to work with you, man. It's been great.
Cool, cool, man. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
likewise. And yeah, like when you say in the videos, like, hey, don't, this isn't like a 1.5x and you're doing dishes in the background. This is hey, you grab a cup of coffee, you listen to that 1x and, you're making notes. Um, if you
Yeah.
do that and, stick with the prescribed way that the system is, yeah, that's the way to go for sure.
Yeah. Love it, man. And what kind of fears or worries did you have about call center mastery before committing to go through with it?
I would say the time commitment, just not thinking I would have enough time to commit
Okay.
to it. And it's definitely been there is a time commitment. You don't want to lie to yourself and say that it's upload a snapshot, watch a few videos, and you got a call center. That's not the way it works. So, and
Yep.
I think you make that pretty clear before coming on. So, um, yeah, I think just making the time was my biggest fear.
Yeah. Okay. And how did you obviously you found in the end it wasn't too bad, right? It still worked out.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, once and I think learning a new CRM, so I'm completely new to GHL prior to jumping into this too. So um
Oh,
I
that's
I
good to
didn't really
know.
have any GHL experience. So I mean, if you already know GHL and already have like at least a baseline familiarity with GHL, I would say that this is probably a breeze. For me, it was just getting up to speed on all the automations, how everything works, and all that was probably my biggest hurdle.
Yeah, that's good to know. I didn't. I thought you. I didn't know that. That's great. That's. I always
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about when we speak to people that aren't already in Go High level. I'm always kind of like not sure if I want to accept them into the program because I'm a little bit like it's a bit of a learning curve. But to know that you've done it and you've been successful, that makes me feel a lot better. I feel like we can definitely bring people on.
Y-
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, if that's your target market, like people who are already experienced in GHL, I mean, yeah, this would be a walk in the park if you didn't have to learn the CRM already. I think, personally.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And what have been your favorite parts of the program?
Um, I've been pleasantly surprised of all the things that you solved for in the program. I like like I have a question for you and you've already solved for it in an automation. There's just been a bunch of little instances where I know myself, like the way I look at things, I'm always looking for what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Um, I've been pleasantly surprised that hey, if this happens, all the scenarios that have been solved for have been pleasantly surprised with.
Yeah, a lot of people say that they're like you thought of everything, man. How did you think of like like everything
Yeah.
like and it's just years of experience, right? It's just literally just
And I'm looking too.
yeah.
I'm looking for things. I'm like, no way he saw for this. I'm gonna bring this on the call, and you'd be like, yeah, man, it just goes back in this automation. I'm like, he's fucking
Oh,
got me again. Yeah.
yeah, I love that, man. I love that. And what would you say to anyone that's potentially watching this on the fence and they're a little bit unsure about is call center mastery really going to help me? What would you say to them kind of people?
I would say, yeah, if you don't have a call center right now in your agency, I mean, it's the way to go. Like you're gonna get left behind. I feel like everybody else is doing it and having a call center that's tested and proven, especially you guys team follow up working with Hormozy's companies.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I mean, what better template to have in your business and have your for your agency to stand out?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, Michael. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for jumping on and having this interview with me. It's been great, and I'm excited for your continued growth, man. Like, I'm excited to keep working with you and keep crushing this for you.
Cool. Yeah, likewise, man. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, look forward to continuing the conversation, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.